Hello, I'm Robert Dempsey, and as chair of the Department of Neurological Surgery at the University of Wisconsin, I want to welcome resident applicants to our online review of the residency program. Given the COVID crisis and the inability to meet in person or travel to the traditional externships, we're doing our best to try to transmit electronically a good cross-section of the programs. In this case, I want to show us what the University of Wisconsin stands for, what we offer for residents and training. You will see many programs. You'll see many videos. You'll experience some personally. But the most important thing for you to understand is that programs aren't about places. They aren't about buildings. They're about people. And people are what make it great. People who are going to train you, and people are going to be you as resident alumni. So this is very important. There are some very important things about the program at Madison. We are located in the state capital. It's a beautiful city located on 4 lakes. It is an extremely beautiful place to live and work hard. And indeed, my own family blossomed when we came here, and that principle is important because it's very important to us that we turn out excellent neurosurgeons who are excellent people. And they can't be that if they're beaten down. So it's very important to be a full person. If we are to describe a program, we have to talk about people, who we are, what we do. I want to describe the staff, which are the most important, the residents, the support staff, the clinical and research programs. We pride ourselves on being a very academic program. That is to say, each individual area of neurosurgery must be excellent, must be covered thoroughly, and must be led by someone who's a national thought leader in that region, in that program. That's the only way you're going to learn properly, if you are encouraged by people who are fascinated and achieve greatness in that region of neurosurgery that they specialize. It's all about people. There's over 100 people in the department, and it's all my fault. Because with the exception of Dr. Ramirez, our emeritus professor, who's the neuroanatomy lab is named after, I've hired them all. So it's been very important to me that this be a very diverse group that challenges each other, that affects each other, that are full people, that represent the worldwide in the distribution of people and excel, and that they have a basic principle that they are going into medicine because they want to take care of people, and they want to do it very well. They want to work in the greatest of professions, which I believe is neurosurgery. There's nothing like it. You take care of men and women, adults and children. You do extremely complicated acute surgeries. You take care of chronic problems. There's nothing like it. Nothing can be as fulfilling a career, in my opinion. And you get to spend that time with really excellent people. I will describe just the leadership of the department and then the individual divisions. I'm Robert Dempsey. I came in '95 here, and I have a primarily vascular and intracranial practice. I'm known for my research for 35 years of NIH funding thus far, primarily in stroke, prevention, molecular biology, atherogenesis, treatment, and the rehabilitation or repair of the injured brain. Because I think in that are the 2 areas of greatest growth in neurosurgery during your careers. That will be ischemic stroke, which we have just getting involved in large amounts, and repair of the injured brain, which will involve everything about functional neurosurgery in a very positive and academically driven way. I've been very active in national organizations. I presently chair the Foundation for International Education in Neurological Surgery, and indeed most of my activity is educational. That program is dedicated to founding neurosurgery programs and supporting them in the developing world. Over 20 programs worldwide, Asia, Africa, Latin America, in every continent except Australia and Antarctica. I'm the past president of the Senior Society, the Society for Neurological Surgeons, which set the standards for your residency. the milestones, the expectations, the extra courses. I'm proud that the small role I had in setting that in motion, and we continue it to this day. And I'm very involved in teaching at every level. Like most all of our faculty, I'm surrounded by people far better than me. That's called family. That's very important because they are what supports you. That's what you are most proud of and most proud to be part of. But this is a wonderful profession. It's taken me worldwide, Uganda, throughout the United States, throughout the developing world. The world is a wonderful place, and it needs us to be groundbreakers. That's important. Our first vice chair introduced is Daniel Resnick. Dan is the professor, vice chair, and program director of the residency. He is vice chair for academics, is a spinal surgeon and one of the best in the world. He's written the guidelines. He's a prolific author. In an average year may put out more than 20 peer-reviewed articles. He is active in national organizations, past president of the largest neurosurgical society in the world, the Congress, president of NAS, chair of the Joint Section for Spine, and director and secretary of the ABNS, the certifying organization of your residency. So education is what we stand for, but we're people as well. He is very active in family, in music, in sports, and never, ever challenge him to an athletic event. Big mistake. But an outstanding teacher known worldwide. Greg Trost is vice chair for clinical. He directs the spinal surgery program. He is a Madison resident graduate. I'm very, very selective about faculty. I want diverse schools of thought teaching you, but the best we keep. His work is in spine and adult brachial plexus. He is one of the world's great teachers of spine surgery. He directs that fellowship program. If you want to get him going, start talking about making wooden boats for grandchildren. You won't go wrong in that. Raghu Vemuganti is the vice chair for research, extremely highly funded NIH researcher who is active in collaborative work throughout the department and med school. His work primarily in ischemia and the genomics of ischemia are groundbreaking and yet important in every single field of neurosurgery. That attitude of collaboration is why I came here. We are sitting on campus at one of the great research institutions in the world for funding, for research, for innovation, and it is an extremely collaborative one. I have designed the department in such a way that the average faculty surgeon has to walk through or around their lab to get to the OR. So it's an integral part of what we do. And I want the residents to be exposed to that. They don't have to choose a research background, but they do have to be aware of it, know it, be exposed to it, and many find that that is the way they will improve their craft. And the research can be in many areas. It can be in surgical dissection. It can be in microbiology. It can be in clinical research. We build each of those. Each of these, therefore, are specific divisions: cerebrovascular, tumor, spine, and peripheral, pediatric, trauma, critical care, functional, and global health. And each is led by world thought leaders, and each are involving the residents from the day they arrive, so that you are exposed broadly, and when you finish here, you are outstanding surgeons, and you wish to be better and improve it, and that's what research is, after all, improving your craft. And if you're doing something unique and different, you want to teach it, and that's the final aspect of the three-legged stool of academics. It should come naturally and not be forced. Cerebrovascular, I'm very proud of. We were one of the pioneers in endovascular neurosurgery. Charles Struther brought coiling to the United States and still is active in our research labs, which are an integral part of the residency program. The model here is combined surgeons that can do open or endovascular, and I wish every resident be trained in both. Last year's chief resident did almost 1,000 endovascular cases before his fellowship, meaning that when you do a fellowship from this institution, You usually are outstanding clinician, and you are punching your academic ticket at another place to be exposed to another school of thought. I expect to get a call from your fellowship director if we send you elsewhere for fellowship saying, my Lord, this person is a good surgeon. Can I hire them? And I may say, no, I'm keeping you, or encourage that. But that's what I expect. And that's what I expect of a fellowship, that it's an additional academic boost, not doing any makeup in any way. People will be very well trained in everything. Tumor is extremely important here, both in benign and malignant. Raghu Day leads our malignant program with her as a surgeon scientist with outstanding work on the immunotherapy of brain tumors. Dr. Bashkaya is really one of the world's great teachers of skull base and surgical techniques. And the Ramirez Dissection Laboratory, which Dr. Bashkaya leads, named after Dr. Ramirez, our emeritus professor, is an enormous space for research on surgical techniques. 27 papers in the last year from that lab by residents, by faculty, about surgical techniques so that we understand and improve that. That's research as well. And it is a site for courses nationally and internationally. Spine and peripheral nerve disorder is very important. This is not a trivial part. We utilize multiple hospitals so that you see a range of patients from complex to routine spine, because you must be expert at everything. And peripheral nerve is a very important academic study with dissections, with brachial plexus repair, so the type of cases you see will be unmatched. And indeed, it'd be because people are writing the textbooks among just those topics. Pediatric neurosurgery is a wonderful story here. It really comes down to Benny Iskandar, one of the great teachers, scientists, and friends in the world. I really, truly believe that the pediatric hospital was built around Dr. Iskandar and the people he's recruited for outstanding programs in pediatric epilepsy and pediatric spine make this really a focal point for referral cases in a really remarkable program, which is built around great facilities, but as always, around great people. And that's the reoccurring theme with everything I'll say. Trauma and critical care are an integral part of your training. And that's me, because when I was at Senior Society, I insisted that trauma, critical care, and endovascular be part of your training, be part of your certification. So Dr. Josh Meadow, neurosurgeon, leads our critical care team. You can do fellowships in critical care. The teachers are outstanding, coming from a broad variety of specialties, and the facilities are excellent. But most importantly, it's about the patients. And here, Josh is at a ICU reunion where we basically have taken the survivors and their families and brought them back to mutually congratulate them on what they did to recover. And it's very important to remember that. But this is very important. We firmly believe that neurosurgeons provide total care of their patients, critical care as well as technical surgery. Functional epilepsy is the other great area of growth you will see during your residency, because repair of the injured brain will open up new frontiers for what we can do and who we treat. This is Dr. Ramirez awarding the Ramirez Award to Dr. Williams, who is the head of our bioengineering and has a joint appointment, in, as do many bioengineers in our department. He is one of the world's great brain-computer interface people, and it changes the way we think about what we can do, from simply stopping damage, bleeding, etc., to repairing the injured brain, will allow us to change the world. That research is being done here, and it's being done in this collaborative environment where we've been able to build the research labs adjacent to the hospital, so the scientists are at the hospital and we are not traveling elsewhere as if we're a separate part of what we do. It's integral to everything we do, is to improve, to be the best in the world and be improving every day. Global health is extremely important. As I said, the Foundation for National Education in Neurological Surgery is centered here, and that this has been throughout the entire world. Multiple faculty and residents participate. This is strictly volunteer. We do have increasing ability to allow that, but it has to be something people are interested in, dedicated to. It changes your life for the better. It helps you to understand surgery with minimal equipment. It helps you understand how common and alike people are worldwide and how our needs are the same. Nothing more than the COVID crisis makes this very obvious to each and every one of us. So what we really have is three missions in balance. Patient care is number one, but if we want to excel in that, we must do research to improve it, and that includes surgical research, technique research, or biochemistry, or recovery, and then we must spread that, we must teach. It should be as natural could be for you to have an academic mindset. Even if you go into private practice, you will constantly improve yourself, and that's our goal. We do fellowships. The fellows must be teachers. They must improve the residency and never distract from it. These are our rising fellows for the coming year in skull-base, spine, and in endovascular. They're excellent people. They will be your colleagues and your teachers. The nurses and administrative staff are the core. I do not believe that residents are here to do scut work. Residents are here to learn and to care for patients. The nurses are fabulous, and indeed the patients are often more interested in seeing the nurses and getting their opinions than the doctors because they're that good. But that's very typical of this part of the country, that we get these outstanding people who are dedicated and work well together. They make us excel, and we're proud of them. Here are the residents. I'm very proud of them, mainly because not only are they brilliant, are they bright, are they hardworking, but they look after each other. They're a very good group, and I enjoy laughing with them. I enjoy learning from them, just as I hope they do from us. These are our rising PGY1s, Joyce and Lars, for the coming year. They're excellent, and we're thrilled to be having them. What does a resident do? They take care of patients, they learn, they teach, they do research, and then repeat the process. And you repeat it the rest of your life. I can't imagine anything as fulfilling as this field that you are going into. That's important. And when it's that important to you, it's never work. Matter of fact, it's sort of shocking that people have to work because we are doing exactly what we wanted to do. And it happens to be helping people. That's wonderful. We do about 4,000 cases. The important thing here isn't the numbers, they're more than sufficient. It's that we cover everything. There are no holes. There are no shortages. You will be well trained at every area of neurosurgery that I know or have heard of. And if there are new areas, we will excel in that. And there will be new areas. That's the great thing about this specialty. We work very careful to make sure that we cover it. We have trauma, but are not overwhelmed by it. The one thing we do lack is penetrating trauma. This is not a big part of the country for gunshots and knives. This is a part for road accidents or farm accidents. So the cases are diverse, the equipment is state-of-the-art, and the people are outstanding and innovative. The facilities I do want to mention, this is the Children's Hospital that essentially is built around Dr. Iskandar, a remarkable place. It's really quite beautiful, set up as if a small town in Wisconsin. The patient education is in the little theater. The drugstore is the pharmacy. This is the research towers, which bring all of the bioscientists of campus to the medical center. So we trip over each other. We are constantly interacting. This is our East Campus, which is being built for spine and rehab. It does allow that experience with what I would call more routine neurosurgery in a setting which would be similar to what you might see if you go into private practice and a high volume of very good care in very good facilities. Whereas at the university hospital, you may be doing very large and complex cases. It's important that you have balance in your education. So in addition to all this busy life, I want the residents to have a life, to be academically active, and to be good people. That means they need to sleep, they need to have adequate nutrition. This resident was good enough to put together a program, Kimberly did, of resident well-being, which included everything from cooking classes to exercise to camaraderie. It's been very important. And we meet among our didactics, because these teaching, when a resident comes and tells me I wish to learn more about something, I treat them like an adult. I say, okay, I will supply the equipment you're going to teach this. You're going to learn it that way. And these dissection courses, these are the way I find faculty, people that take that challenge and make it part of their life. During a typical year, residents do a large number of national presentations, because if they do, I send them to those meetings. They win awards and they publish papers at a regular clip. I do not penalize people. I do make sure it's possible for them to succeed. And some people, we need to get to know them and figure out how to do that. We have an active mentoring program. Every resident has 2 mentors. One we pick, best guess, and myself. And we meet regularly and say, what are you learning? What are you writing? How are you doing? Are you getting enough sleep and rest? What do you want to do? Well, let's help you achieve that. And that's what a program does that's based on education. And they reward us with national awards, which I'm thrilled. Every department you will meet will say, give you books and loops and lab supplies and send you to national meetings. The boot camp came from the Senior Society when I was president. It's very important to us. The RUN course I co-direct is very important in neurobiology review. And these courses throughout your residency will be embraced and be important. The awards are many. They're on the website, but we're proud of our residents and what they've done. The rotations work through several hospitals, most of which are adjacent. The major UW hospital, the VA, and the Children's Hospital are physically connected on campus. And the private hospital, Meriter Hospital, which we own, is also on campus, but the campus is a mile wide. So that gives that community hospital experience, which is important. Each has a different experience, and I rotate residents through each as a junior and a senior, because they'll be very different. And you really begin to understand it on the second rotation through as a senior resident, as you have graded responsibilities and independence, as you prove that you are a physician scientist capable of this care. Residents do basic science as well. Research could be up to 18 months, depending on how it is tailored to you, but I treat you like adults. That is, we sit down and say, let's customize your residency experience to you and your needs and your desires. There are a pure elective as a senior resident, which many of the residents use to do an Enfolded Fellowship or externship to see, is this what I really want to do? This is very safe within. They often say, yep, this is exactly what I want to pursue as a subspecialty, but why not try it on for size? We do work during the research time. So many have gotten extra degrees. I do want to see something that comes from the research time. We'll be talking about it from the beginning, during it, and after, because research goes on forever, and well, it should. Rotations on neurology, neuropathology, neuroradiology are integral. They're very important, and they're extremely good. Neuropathology is unmatched in its education. Neuroradiology, many of these things were founded here because of the proximity to GE and our work with Siemens. Well, many of the sequences are from here, and many of the endovascular techniques. So this idea of being at the cutting edge is important to us. All responsibilities are within all of the rules and are very reasonable. The trainings program is on the website. The important thing is there's a regular schedule of didactics. You will learn neuropathology as a 2-year course during your residency. You will learn spine or PEDS in didactics, and you will teach those didactics because the learning to teach is part of that education. I treat you like adults. I expect you to take control of your education. I expect us to provide the tools so that you can. Conferences, therefore, are many, but you don't go to all of them because some of them are particular to the rotation that you're on. And the website will give you much of the information. This is Dr. Solomon's Brain Cutting, which is unequaled in its educational content. We are very purposed about many of the things we do. Visiting professors are not parties. I only bring people I like. I tell them I want you to come for a particular reason. I may have a very talented chief resident that I want Ben Worf to know. I may want Lawton to be able to spend time with this chief resident or this junior faculty so that that person, Lawton, will put on the national program or help write a book chapter with. I do this to advance careers and to expose people to other fields of thought. It's a wonderful program, and it's an exchange program. It's one of the highlights of our program here. We do department-wide activities. If we take research seriously, we stop and celebrate it, and research with special guest speakers come, and presentations from students to full faculty about the research until we understand that that is integral to what we do. Didactics are important. When Van Brooks was a resident, he said we really needed to learn spinal techniques better. I said, okay, you're teaching it. I'll provide the equipment, etc. He was so good at it, we kept him as faculty, and he is wonderful. But that's the rule. I expect to see residents teaching us, and that's the best way to learn. The dissections are an important part. With the Ramirez dissection lab, we can do peripheral nerves, spine, cranial, endoscopic, etc. in that lab and write about it, do it scientifically. Fellowships are enfolded according to the letter of the law. As you know, this is changing to be a chief resident experience. We are embracing that, but we think that this is just simply a way to increase your education. And this is a wonderful place to live. We try to get people out. Here's my wife who teaches at the University Arboretum, taking the families on a hike. It might be minor league baseball, it might be picnics, it might be formal events, but the people, the residents like each other, and I'm proud of that. And therefore they socialize, because this is a town where you can do that. We include the patients. The ICU reunion is essential to us. The stroke camp, where we bring our stroke survivors and their caretakers to a Wisconsin summer camp, and we take care of the stroke victims, and we understand how hard that is, and we come back saying, I've got to do better research. What becomes of our residents? My original goal was that half would be in academics and half would be in private. It's really much more 70 or 80% academics now, and I think that's just because they're exposed to it and they like it. About 85% have done a fellowship, and invariably they're already trained in that area. Their fellowship is to punch their academic ticket, and invariably they're offered a job by the fellow director. But all are exposed to a broad area of neurosurgical experience because the world will change, neurosurgery will change, and I want you to be broadly and expertly trained because I want you to develop and push this field. We've got lists online of where the graduates have gone, and we celebrate graduates by bringing back our alumni and guest speakers. And with the graduation is also departmental awards. It's a very important weekend, but it is a celebration that everybody has done this together. Madison itself is a wonderful place to live. Symphony, opera, culture, Frank Lloyd Wright, to sports, the Ironman is here, to obviously Big Ten college sports. It is a very athletic town. People are out year-round because that's just basically what they are. It is a wonderful place to be active. It's a wonderful place to live. It's a wonderful place to come and work hard at something you really want to do. It is true that winter happens, but we get out and use it. Cross-country skiing out your back door is possible. Most important, though, it's always about people. It's a beautiful place, but it's the people that make it. And I'm proud of them. I'm proud of what they do, and I'm proud of what they are doing to advance this field that you're entering. So congratulations on what you've done so far. I wish you the very best with this next step in your career, and welcome to UW Neurosurgery.